I'm Stephen Main. Welcome to the Main Report. Now, John Howard and Peter Costello are keen to tell anyone who'll listen just how well the Australian economy is doing. Record growth, full employment, big strong budget surplus, you know the game. But there's one thing they won't tell you which they really ought to, and that is that a huge chunk of the Australian economy is not actually owned by Australians. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that Australia has the worst record of any developed economy when it comes to foreign investment. I've been able to come up with more than 250 foreign companies who are turning over more than $200 million a year in revenue every year in Australia. And how many Australian companies are doing the same offshore? Well, sadly, I can only come up with about 70. That's 70 Australian-based companies who make more than $200 million a year in revenue from exports or from foreign-owned operations. And it gets pretty obvious when you start looking at certain sectors of the economy. Here we are, the world's biggest island, and we don't have a shipping company to speak of. And we all know we're a nation of tourists, we love to travel, tourists love to come here, yet we do not have a single Australian hotel company to speak of that's brand is known around the world. You might ask,
where the bloody well are you?
And when it comes to the resources sector, you know, the old story, Australia is a quarry, that's, you know, we've ridden on the sheep's back and we dig it up and flog it off. Well, 80% of all our major resource projects from the Northwest Shelf down are owned by foreign companies. Japanese companies like Mitsui and Mitsubishi, which, you know, you might not hear about very often, actually own tens of billions of dollars worth of Australian resource projects. And this partly explains why we have such a dreadful current account deficit, because literally tens of billions of dollars a year is being sent offshore by foreign companies taking their profits back home. It's partly why we've got such a huge foreign debt, because we have to keep on borrowing from offshore or selling off the farm to maintain our lifestyle that we've become used to. So sure, with the Olympics coming up next year, Australia will probably finish, 5th or 6th on the medal tally and we'll all pat ourselves on the back. But when it comes to corporate Australia, we actually need to lift our game substantially.
Side. Oh, just a leg go! You're guilty!
And the very first thing we should do is actually try to own a bit more of the Aussie farm and see if we can actually improve our lifestyles and lift our ratings up the world league ladder. That's it for now. Thanks for listening to the Main Report and just keep doing your best.